Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is going to be a continuation of the How to Write a Poetry Book series. And I've already made 3 episodes in this series, and for those of you who are familiar with my work, who've seen the previous episodes, it's alright, but just a bit of recap for those of you who haven't. So I started this How to Write a Poetry Book series about 2 months back. And the first episode focused on generally on basic commonsensical approaches in how to get your poems together and how to put together a poetry collection. Then in the second episode, I specifically talked about the theme-based approach for curating your poetry collection. And in the third episode, I sort of then talked about other elements like how to edit your poems and things like that. I would provide the links in the description section. Please do have a look at the first 3 episodes when you watch this one, because then you will have a sense of continuity and you would understand the entire process rather well. And also please do subscribe to my channel if you like the content, and please do like the video, and also offer your suggestions in the comment section as to what kind of content would you like to see, and also offer your feedback regarding how these tips were useful to you. So let's begin the episode today. So when it comes to the art of writing a poetry book, now of course poetry is the most obvious element. It is the most obvious component of a poetry book, and that's why I talked at length about how to get your poems together and all that. In the first 3 episodes, I concentrated on the poetry writing part, but now in this episode, I want to concentrate on a very neglected part of writing a poetry book, which is that there are various other elements which are very important when you're writing your poetry book. And before you submit your manuscript to a prospective publisher, you should have these things, these elements well thought out in your mind, well in advance. And thinking about these elements becomes even more important if you're self-publishing your book. So the first most important element for your poetry book, apart from poetry of course, is an introduction or a preface. Now there's no hard and fast rule to these things, but you would see a lot of poetry books have something called the author's preface. Now the author's preface is obviously written by the author, and it's a short document, maybe a page, just a page. But apart from the author's preface, another thing which is more popular in poetry collections, and you can see more of this, is an introduction. Now, an introduction is typically written by somebody else, a third person, maybe a well-known or famous person, a famous poet who knows your work well, but they don't have to be necessarily famous. Also, it can be a poet or even a non-poet who is familiar about your work and who have a certain standing in their field. So this is the introduction part, but there's again no rule as such. You can also write the introduction of your book yourself if you like to, but it's just that when you get it written by somebody else, a third person, and especially somebody who is well known, then it gives a certain kind of credibility to your collection. Now the introduction, instead of introduction, in some books you would also find something called the foreword. Now the foreword again is typically written by a third person, a famous person in the field of writing who is familiar with your work, or a person from any other field who is basically familiar with your work. So I'm just also going to give you a couple of examples on how these different elements are utilized in poetry collection. So the first book I'm picking up is Through Moonless Nights by Radha Gomati. Through Moonless Nights, Radha Gomati. Now this has been published by India's National Academy of Letters, Sahitya Academy. Now this one has an introduction, as you can see. Introduction, the bread of poetry, this one says. I would try to provide screenshots as and where I can. So now this introduction is a very typical introduction, a detailed, rather sort of academic kind of introduction, which is written by a very prominent figure of Indian English literature, K. Sachidanandan. And the benefit of an introduction is, and such an introduction is, that it kind of lends a lot of credibility to the poet's work, even within literary circles, because when such a learned person writes an introduction, they obviously place your poetry within a certain a literary tradition of poets, and that sort of obviously lends more prestige to your poetry from a literary perspective. And obviously, though, even though it's not going to directly help the sales of your book, but it certainly helps you in getting publishing contracts for your future poetry books, because as and when somebody reads the introduction and when reviewers take note of the introduction, obviously it helps you to get book reviews as well, but it helps create a buzz in the publishing world. That's when so person has written your introduction. More importantly, the substance of introduction, how you're being placed in a literary trajectory, that itself is very prestigious from the point of view of getting future publishing contracts from big publishers perhaps. So this was one example. But then again, as I said, poetry books incorporate the introduction in different ways. Now this is another book, Music of the Oceans, by a poet called Subhash Basu. And the cover is so enticing, I just can't take my eyes off the cover. I think you also can't take your eyes off the cover. So now this one has a slightly different approach when it comes to incorporating the introduction. So instead of the introduction, this has a very short third person note, an artist's impression of Music of the Oceans. So this is written by a famous artist himself who is reviewing this poetry book, and it's a very short note. So this is also a good idea. If the person whom you approach doesn't have time to write a full-fledged introduction, they could also write a note like this, and you can give sort of an appealing title to the note. And then it's followed by author's preface. The author's preface, as I said, is obviously not compulsory, but it's also something, if you don't find, for example, anybody to write introduction for your book, then you can also go for author's preface. This also lends a certain background to your poetry collection. So this is the author's preface in this book. One more book I want to refer is by a very famous Assamese poet. He writes in English, and a very prominent poet, Sabah Ahmed, and the book is called Tranquil Musings. And as you can see, the cover of the book is quite interesting. So this book has a slightly different approach. It doesn't have an introduction. It has a foreword. As I was saying, you can include a foreword as well. Foreword again is written by a third person, and the foreword then can be followed by an author's preface, or it cannot be or it doesn't have to be included the author's preface. That's totally up to you. So these were just a few examples to explain the importance of introduction. And the important thing here is that the introduction has to be planned well in advance. If you are, whatever you're writing, author's preface, introduction, if you're penning it down yourself, start the process as soon as you start selecting the poems, because give it a couple of months time. And especially if you're getting it written by somebody else, it's a very time consuming process. You have to ask people, approach people, and it's not necessary that they will agree, because they might just not have the time for it. And even if they agree, they're busy people, so they might just take a long time to deliver the introduction to you. So don't wait for the end moment. Don't wait for the book to get accepted and then do all these things. Publishing anyways is a time consuming process. So from your own end, all these things have to be done well in advance. And especially if you're self-publishing, taking care of all these elements is very important. And even if you're going through a publisher, trust me, a publisher is not going to help you with these things, that who will write an introduction. These things you have to plan from your own end. They can obviously guide you, but all this homework you have to do yourself. So just give it a lot of time, thought, and planning, because this comes in the beginning of your book poetry collection, and this is a very important element, be it introduction, author's preface, or whichever way you choose to introduce the book. So now we come to the second most important element of your poetry collection, which is called the blurb. And you would often see blurbs on the back cover of the book. Now there's a difference between how a blurb is written for a prose collection and how it is written for a poetry collection. When you buy a novel, you would often see that on the back cover there's a brief summary of the story of the book. Now it cannot be exactly called a summary, it's like a teaser, very brief teaser, a couple of lines. But it definitely has an element of storytelling, and it does tell you about the story of the novel in some way or the other. And then it will be followed by very short, 2-3 short snippets of reviews of the novel by somebody well known. And all this is on the back cover. Now, in poetry collection, it's somewhat different because in poetry, obviously, poetry doesn't have like a story as such, and it doesn't have that kind of concrete storytelling element. So, a poetry blurb is mostly short snippets of reviews of the poetry collection, mostly included on the back cover of the book, and this is followed by a brief introduction of the author. You can also, again, there's no hard and fast rule in this. If you don't get anybody to write reviews, those shorts reviews for your poetry collection, then you can also give it a sort of small review, a blurb kind of a thing yourself. As some poetry collections follow this approach that the blurb is there, but the name is not given as to who has written this. For example, this book I was referring to, Through Moonless Nights by Radha Gomti. So this has a blurb on the back side of the cover, but the name is not given that who has written it. So you can obviously write this kind of thing yourself as well as a poet if you don't find anybody to write a blurb for your poetry collection. Again, there are many different approaches that one can follow in this. If the author's introduction is prominent and if you think that needs a more coverage, then sometimes instead of blurb on the back cover, you can include the author's introduction. Like in the case of this book, Tranquil Musings by Saba Ahmed. The back cover devotes exclusive space to the poet's bio about the poet, because in this case, the poet has a quite prominent introduction. Blurbs are also in the back cover, but in the form of this flap here. So there's no hard and fast rule to what should be included in the back cover, but generally speaking, in some way or the other, blurbs have to be included in your poetry collection, and these lend more credibility to your collection. And when people see your book on the shelf, on a bookshelf, then they obviously check out these blurbs, and this sort of lends, as I said, more credibility to the collection. And even if people are buying your books through Amazon, Amazon also displays the back cover of your book, and they would certainly check this out, what kind of reviews this poetry book has, before deciding to buy it. So now again, you have to plan this out well in advance. If you're self-publishing, obviously, but also if somebody else is publishing your book. In fact, when you're compiling your poems together, begin the process then only. Because for the blurb, again, you have to approach people to write the blurb, and there might be a lot of practical hindrances on the way. They might not have time. You might have to sort of look for other people, and they might take time to deliver the blurb. So plan these things out well in advance, even as you are compiling the collection. Now this brings me to the third most important element of a poetry book, which is the acknowledgements. A lot of us don't pay so much attention to writing the acknowledgements, and we think it's just a formality, but it's certainly more than that, a lot more than that. Poetry writing is all about your emotions, it's about experiences, it's also about connecting with the world around, connecting with people around you. It's an exercise in empathy and imagination. So acknowledgements, when you're writing acknowledgements, you are essentially thanking people, everybody in your life, all people who have contributed to your poetry collection, and everything. You don't have to look at it from a sales point of view. It's something which enriches your inner journey as a poet, and I think you have to invest a considerable amount of time and creativity in writing the acknowledgements as well. Don't make it sound like a grocery list that, okay, thank you this person, thank you that person, but try and make it more sort of anecdotal. Try and bring in some storytelling element. Remember specific incidents as to how these people made a positive contribution to your poetry journey, to your journey as a creative individuals. And acknowledgements again is placed in the beginning of the book, and obviously when you hand out copies to people who are important to you, or people who have been a part of your poetry process, they do take a look at the acknowledgements. So acknowledgements is very important, and under no circumstances this part of your sort of collection has to be neglected. And especially when you're writing acknowledgements for a poetry book, it would be a good idea to perhaps incorporate some poetic elements, you can make use of poetic language in writing the acknowledgements as well. There are so many ways in which you can write acknowledgements, and I don't want to really go into the details of how to write an acknowledgement here. That I leave for some other session. But the point is, acknowledgements is a very important element of your poetry book, and you have to plan this well in advance. Make a list of people whom you want to thank. And the most important thing is don't leave out sort of anybody who made an important contribution to your poetic journey. So never do this in a jiffy. Plan this out well in advance. Again, I would repeat this again and again, that introduction, author's preface, blurb, acknowledgements, all these need to be planned out as you start compiling your poems, as you start putting your poems together. Don't wait for a publisher to accept your manuscript before you think of all these things. Don't just leave it for the last moment. So this was it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and please do subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon on the top right hand corner to get regular notifications and updates. Thank you so much.